Hi guys, I'm Ben from Neck Deep. To be fair, Wrexham had a decent music scene at one point, probably maybe 2005 onwards. But, well, probably maybe till like 2008, I would say is the strongest maybe. But yeah, it was sick. There was always gigs on. We had a local promoter, Andy Glanders, who did Chaos Theory promotions, and it was like, I don't know, he would just put on the bands that we would want to see. It seemed like back then there was a lot of people who were all into the same sort of music and all would want to go to shows and would start bands of their own and things like that. And it seemed like Wrexham, for the small town that it is, kind of had a good scene. And that's kind of where I definitely got into like the world of bands and making music and things like that. Both my brothers were always in bands around Wrexham. And I go to shows and things like that and see them play and see some actual bands play. I remember seeing Bring Me the Horizon and Shikari. They were two memorable ones. And we had like Day of Chaos and things like that. And and School's Out for Summer was alright as well. That was pretty cool. We had things like that, and it was a healthy scene, but it seems to have died out now. It seems like, I don't know. People stopped going to shows. People got a little bit older, went to uni and did their own thing. And didn't really pass much on to the younger generation. Even people my age, I would say, wouldn't necessarily be fully aware of the music scene back then, but there was a few. But it just didn't really get passed on. It kind of sucks, but here we are. Yeah, I miss Wrexham. There's no other place like it. It's definitely got its own charm. It's not like in any way like fancy or glitzy. There's no glamour about it, but that's kind of what makes it good. It's a shithole, but it's our shithole. I like it. I do miss Wrexham. I mean, I can't see myself settling far away from here anyway. I think I'll always be in this general area. But I don't know, who knows. I travel enough to see the things that I want to see, and then when I come home, that's my time at home, and that's, I don't know, I can just be indulged in Wrexham and feel like I'm a part of something. CX, decent. CX is alright. Normally going to CX and just like looking if there's any games. The addition of Starbucks was pretty good recently. Cafe Nero is good. They've got a fourth planet now, which is where they sell Magic cards and they play Magic, so that's cool. The bus station isn't really a shop, but definitely a hub. Actually, the bus station shop is decent. The bus station Chinese. Crazy Pizza was good back in the day. Probably Erddig, I would say. Erddig is like pretty nice. So we shot the part of my video. Erddig's pretty nice. It's just like big open fields, some nice water features, some big forests and shit that you can just go and walk around with and just, I don't know. Like, we used to go camping up there and stuff and have little bonfires at the top of Mount Bailey, and that was always cool. And just being able, like, away from people was kind of good as well. But my favourite spec in Wrexham. My least favourite is definitely the front of Yale College. That is the bane of my life. In life, it was pretty bad. I was pretty young. I was probably maybe 6 or 7. And I queued for the front of the Oblivion for literally like 3 hours. Got to the front of, like, to sit on the front row. I was next on, I was at the gate. And needed a piss for like 2 hours. Pissed myself at the front of the gate. And I had to ride the Oblivion in pissy pants. And it wasn't even good because I was just gutted that I pissed myself. But on stage, thankfully I've grown out of my weak bladder. It wasn't even a weak bladder, I held that for literally 2 hours, so I think there was no other option. But most embarrassing moment on stage, I ripped my shorts on Warped Tour this year, right down the front. And I've fallen over a fair few times on stage. Edinburgh was one of the probably most memorable ones, because I literally did a fucking comedy slip-on banana, well, it's on water, but yeah, legs went from underneath me, just landed straight on my ass. So that was pretty bad. I get people asking me about my feet, like what size feet do I, well, mainly asking how tall I am for some reason on Twitter, and it's just like, why do you want to know this? But I feet. If you want to buy me shoes, someone wants to buy me shoes. I'm a size 10 UK, so there you go. Any that's there, really, to be honest. Pantene is pretty good. I'll just say Pantene. Yeah, Pantene's the one. Or Tresemme is good. I don't know, I just use whichever one my mum's got there, and then I just usually steal like a bottle of it when I go on tour, so yeah, Pantene or Tresemme is probably the one. Oh, fully coffee person. I don't mind a brew, I don't mind a cup of tea every now and again, but as it goes, like, I'm big on coffee, yeah. Ooh, well, I've had an Xbox 360 for ages. So I prefer the Xbox 360 to PS3, but PS4, I have a PS4 over the Xbox One. Just because they didn't have any bad intentions when it first came out, they didn't try and fuck me over, so PS4 is just the straight up gaming console. So. My favourite band, Blink-182. That's my favourite band of all time. I have plenty of other favourite bands, but yeah, Blink-182, forever and always. Don't know if this is completely wrong, but tipping bar, I think that means a little bit. I can speak a little bit of Welsh. Tipping bar. Yeah, I do. Mainly, more so really after we've recorded it, or while we're in the recording process. Like before it gets released, normally I'll listen to it so much that I just get sick of it, and that I have no perspective on it, and I don't know if it's good or if it's bad anymore, and I'm just like, I don't know even if this is good anymore. It's just like, yeah. So you lose all perspective on it, but yeah, I definitely listen to my own music a lot in the recording process, but I think any artist does. Yeah. It's good. I do enjoy my own music. I do have moments where I sit back and go, yeah, I did a good job on this, and that's kind of what you aim for. So. Can't be a good fry-up, to be honest. I rarely have a fry-up, to be honest. Usually it just goes bacon and egg sandwich, man. Just classic, or just a bowl of cereal. Favourite film from my childhood would be The Goonies. Favourite like actual film, probably Pulp Fiction. How old am I even be? Probably 50. Fuck. When I'm 50, I don't think we'll be doing. Well, neck D might still be a thing, but I don't think we'll be playing shows when we're 50. I don't know how West Diet would have been up till that. if you'll last till 50, nah. 50, but I would like to just be settled down, and I'd like to have like a couple of dogs, a nice lady, just a nice house, just to be able to have gone through life and just been like, sound, I did pretty well there. Be rinsed and tapped, have a few kids, and yeah, just being able to just probably like, just as long as I was maybe by the sea, or if I could just do something cool every day, I lived out somewhere, I could. I don't know. As long as I'm settled in somewhere nice. Damn. Maybe biggest show we played actually, yeah, Blink by far. Supporting Blink was the biggest show. Biggest crowd we ever played to was Blink. Biggest like show in terms of like just the magnitude of Blink. You know, that show is just a big show. So yeah, I'd definitely say Blink. Biggest headline show we did was on our last one, the Australian tour we just did in Sydney. It was like 700 people, 600 or 700 I think. But Reading and Leeds, both memorable shows. I think if Wrexham actually did sell out, that might have been one of our biggest shows. So yeah, I think Blink definitely wants a crown now and will do for a long time.